Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Black Hat USA 2023. This is episode 2995. Our next guest, Mr. Nick Lantuh. He's the CEO and co-founder of Interpres Security. Mr. Nick, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks, Chuck.
Now, I love talking to co-founders because, you guys have the energy. You're doing this because you love it. That's why you founded a company. Today's topic is operationalizing cyber threat intelligence. I'm glad I could pronounce that word. That's a tough one for me, but it's a verb. Right? It means we have to do something to make things work. And that's why it's a great way to describe this. Tell us about Interpres Security, how and why you and the founding team created Interpres.
Sure. So we came out of stealth back in December of 2022. And what we've done is we've built a platform that optimizes an organization's defenses against the threats that matter most. So we work on shifting readiness and adversaries and exposure to left of boom. And then we automate that readiness process so it's continuous and scales to any size organizations. And effectively what we do is we've got an analytics and relationships engine that goes in and holistically ties together threat and defensive capabilities based on an organization's unique threat profile and their unique security stack.
So what are the most pressing challenges facing the security space today? I mean, what is a pressing issue? That's the problem, right? How do you prioritize stuff? But in your mind, what should we be focusing on? I think, in my mind, since I've done so many shows, I hear a change in our approach. We have all the bells and whistles, we have the stuff to protect things, but I think we're thinking different strategies. Is that the right way to look at it?
Yeah, it is, and it's actually the way we're looking at it. So we've got a leadership team that's got 20 to 30 years experience at the NSA, within the DoD, within industry, bringing innovation out to the marketplace. So we've got veterans from Lantuh and Veridin and Mandiant and Splunk and Devo and Fidelis and eCentire and NetWitness. And we set out to fix a real underlying problem that we see in the industry, which is, what are my actual defensive capabilities and what are my most likely prioritized threats? And are the defensive capabilities really being used? Because today's approach to going in and assessing those defensive capabilities, in our view, is just broken. It lacks integration, it's inefficient, it's complex, it's expensive, it's manually intensive, and it's by design, it's siloed and platform reliant. So the vendors want you to be locked in. And we're saying, look, there's a better way of doing this. Instead of looking at the kind of IOC-based view of the world that's right of boom focused and requires a lot of, eventually auditors and consultants to come in and give you manual reports and assessments that, you can't act upon. We're going in and saying, look, you got to fix these issues by custom tailoring an organization's ability to holistically go in and really understand their defensive capabilities through a continuous kind of analytic and analyzing that dynamic between, what are my defensive capabilities and what are the unique threats that are coming after me, and then aligning your investments to perform with better automation and focus and speed and accuracy to be able to counter what the true adversaries are versus trying to boil the ocean. So, we're looking at a situation in a world where there's new exploits are coming out weekly. CISA's releasing 2 to 4 reports a week, right? The larger the organization, the larger the impact and the longer and more complex it is to go in and evaluate your risk exposure to these threats. And that's really the thing that we're addressing. You look at Move It that just came out, and it's affected 60 million people in 1,000 organizations. And CLOP, that gang behind Move It, is allowing 2 weeks to pay or they take your data. And most companies that are global in nature, it takes them 2 to 6 weeks to determine readiness. So the math just doesn't work. And that's really, that's one of the use cases that we address, but, that's what we're going after. And it's, the situation is bad enough where, DHS is considering bringing the Microsoft case to the Cybersecurity Review Board, and the SEC has passed guidelines on breach disclosure and materiality, and software vendors and financial services firms are now being sued in class action lawsuits over the data loss and Move It. And it's interesting that this is all coming out now. And, back when we were creating the patents for Interpres, this is the actual problem that we were going after.
So it sounds disruptive to me. Well, I take that back. It doesn't sound disruptive to me. It sounds like common sense and logic to me, but it may sound disruptive to other people to change their thinking. I mean, I had the same challenge. It's not unique to cybersecurity, by the way. This is what happens in all businesses, so to speak. I mean, I used to, at the studio, say, I didn't say the clothes emperor have no clothes. I say the clothes have no emperor. When I was trying to put some leadership thing together, it was always challenging. How do you get people to, what's the word? Understand what you're saying? They hear it. It sounds good. We should do it. But, they gotta act. And this is always the challenge. It's the most frustrating. From what you've told me with this background of all the people you have here, you have a solution that people should be running to.
Yeah, we do. We think that the time to really understand the readiness is now, and the implications of it are immediate, and they're huge in nature. And so we talk to numerous global organizations that are very sophisticated in terms of their processes, in terms of their team capabilities, that are all looking to solve this problem. And many have told us that they were considering to try to build internal tools similar to this because there wasn't a commercial solution out there. And after we've engaged with them, we're now partnering with a lot of these organizations, and these have turned into our customers and design partners across multiple industries in finance and insurance, in manufacturing and energy and technology and construction. It's in the U.S. government, kind of DoD and internal or intel community apparatus. And we're really excited about partnering with these teams and bringing this to not only the very sophisticated of the cybersecurity defensive side, but also the organizations that may not have the funding and the capabilities to build out threat intel fusion teams and the like. And so we're really feeling that this message is resonating to multiple constituents out in the corporate world.
Well, that's the secret sauce. If you can select the few, you can reach the millions, right? If you target that way, that's the right way to do it. Now, give me your elevator pitch. Tell me why organizations need to start thinking differently right now, this second, about this. Because as you know, in the security industry, we're a little slow to uptake new ideas. That's okay. But I think there's a paradigm shift here in the world. I feel things are different. I'm officially old now this year, right? So everybody says that. Grandpa always says, when I was a boy, that was different. I think it's actually different in cybersecurity. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. I think that from the standpoint of like what we're bringing to the market that's got uniqueness is that we're helping organizations to really optimize their defenses against the cyber threats that matter most, right? So we've got this automated evidence-based platform that goes in and analyzes the constantly morphing and dynamic relationship between your defensive capabilities. What can I see? What detection logic do I have? What controls do I have in place to mitigate? And the adversarial threats that are out there. What TTPs are being used, what malware is being used, what campaigns are being run, the adversaries behind them, and correlating that back to your defensive capabilities, your assets, your vulnerabilities, and then prioritizing all the recommendations needed to harden your defenses against those specific threats, and then maintain that optimization across your ecosystem, right? And that's something that, it sounds logical, and it's very difficult to do because there's a lot of noise in the system saying, yes, we do this or we provide this, when the reality is that just simply getting a readiness assessment of where do we stand against the threats and being able to prioritize that is not an easy task, given multiple defensive technologies don't want to communicate with each other. There's no real integration in the market, and there's no way to kind of holistically pull all this together into a single view, which is what we've done.
Interpres Security, Nick Lantuh, CEO, co-founder, the man with the vision. Give this guy a call. Check him out. This is a game changer to me. I don't often hear people speak at this level of, what's the word, Nick? Enthusiasm, authority, knowledge. I mean, I think you've got this, right? I can feel that. And I'm really happy we got to talk about this. And hopefully we'll change the paradigm. Because if we don't change the paradigm, especially with ChatGPT on the rise, we're all going to be in big trouble, my friend. So good luck to you, and hopefully meet you in person next year.
Yes, thanks, Chuck. Really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.